Hey, we're live. Welcome back
All
to the
right.
episode. So, second episode will kind of revolve around the boxing scene in Singapore. And Lucas, just guide us
Hmm.
through how has the landscape in Singapore changed in pertaining to boxing.
I see. All right. So, anyways, like I think when it comes to like the boxing landscape in Singapore, first of all, like general statement, it is definitely grown a lot from since 2019. Yeah, I would like to think like like remember when I said like last episode where like I joined MMA. Yeah, I actually pivoted to boxing like around like 2019. So that was like my last year in poly. I started doing like pet work with my friend, and then after he taught me a lot of like the basic foundational basics, like to get started. And then like after that I just wanted to go and like try out a few gyms that focused on boxing. Back then already there was a Spartans like maybe like for you like how to say when you were 19, like do you know that there were like there were many boxing gyms in Singapore?
For me, even though I've always wanted to like kind of go into boxing, but I've always had the impression that it was something that was very, very difficult to get into. It
Mm.
was to me, I had the impression that it was very like an underground kind of thing. I don't know how to put it, but yeah.
I think like what you meant was more of like you didn't know which like there weren't really many boxing specific gyms lah. So back then I already knew that Spartans had a few branches like Juchet, like Serangoon Gardens. And I know that the boxing scene was there. There was definitely a boxing scene. It's just that it wasn't very mainstream last time. So you got your I already heard of a few names lah in the boxing scene lah. Some like those who competed already, like let me now maybe we go into the names like in the future lah, but more of like in general it was really like there are many Muay Thai or like MMA gyms back then that also focused on boxing, but they didn't really highlight boxing lah. And this is before like the time where you have spin classes, then you have that boxing for cardio, boxing for fitness kind of like kind of establishments, like a box office like sugar boxing, those sort of thing where it's more catered towards the general a wider audience group lah, where you don't really need to know the technicalities of boxing to throw punches. Anyone can throw punches, right?
Yep.
Yeah. So 2019 was really like how to say like before boxing was mainstream yeah. I I I could tell that I could sense that boxing was already like gaining traction lah. Like based on like the couple few fights that I went to watch. Like I went to Vanda Boxing Gym, which was in CBD last time. Very nice. Really like two-story gym with a ring. Upstairs also got bags. They did Muay Thai. They did boxing. Very big. Uh, I could see the potential already lah. Like my friends alongside me, like we also like when we did like like trainings on our own. Also many of us like were interested in boxing. I think back then what okay let me sort of like make it more point form. Like
Okay.
I think back then it was harder to get to purchase equipment as well, like quality boxing gloves, like your typical like oh, I think also know like more of like affordable boxing equipment like.
How much is an affordable boxing glove? Like a pair of affordable boxing gloves?
Yeah. Okay, for me right, I know a few shops that sold like Muay Thai brands that also sell boxing gloves. One pair can set you back about 90 to 120 for like I think about 8 to 10 ounce gloves 8 to 10 ounce, 16 ounce will be definitely more expensive lah. But oh, by the way, ounce is the weight of the gloves like in terms of like how much padding you have, right? The
Yep.
total padding, right, is like that the it's like 16 ounce, you know. So 16-ounce gloves are like pillows lah, technically lah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Mm. So I think right, the rise of boxing, right, over the years since 2019 has got to do with one, cost of equipment. You know, you got like it's almost like your fast fashion, but it's really for sports. Dude,
You
I
know,
bought my first pair for 990. Yeah, yeah, first pair.
pair of boxing gloves for 990.
It's just that their boxing gloves weren't as high quality. They were just like really like standard issued 990 gloves. Yeah. Essentially, cost of equipment back then was a lot more expensive. So not many people were willing to invest. Secondly, boxing memberships back then were cheaper, but weren't as publicized. Yeah, I think it was like I didn't see any ads. I wasn't exposed to. It was more through word of mouth actually. Yeah, and then I think like the last one would probably be for me lah personally was a distance was a convenience. There wasn't any gym that was like specifically near where I lived.
Oh yeah, that's a
Yeah,
big thing, like
yeah.
distance.
Like we are around the Bukit Batok area lah, right? Technically,
Yeah.
so you don't really have gyms that are like not at your doorstep, but at least 10 minutes away, kind of thing, you know?
Yeah, I get what you mean. Yeah.
Yeah. So compared to last time, you look at now, the like the in terms of like in there's the city district, you know, for like working adults, you got all your box office, like I said, you got your steel boxing, you have your uh basically boxing for cardio lah, like the one with upbeat music, the kind of gym where with upbeat music, with strength training incorporated, you know, where you're like not supposed to stop punching, that kind of thing. Yeah, that one really propelled boxing into mainstream lah, into mainstream how to say, like more people knew about it lah. Yeah, and then in terms of boxing gyms, there are a lot more. There were many more Spartans gyms that came out. You know, because I did train at Spartans Juchet once as well. Yeah,
Oh, cool.
so accessibility lah. Accessibility has increased, which has led to a wider, larger, more popularity around the sport. Yeah.
What do you think about the perception of boxing?
Oh yes, I think perception of boxing has changed too. Because like when it comes to perception of boxing, we're not just talking about Singapore already, you know. We are talking about it on an international level.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because you know how when it comes to pro boxing, you got your you really got your like legit pro boxing, you know, you got your Anthony Joshua, you know, like the mainstream names the big names Anthony Joshua, you got your like Ryan Garcia, that kind of thing. Yeah, but then that's when the YouTubers started creating their own fight promotion,
Yeah,
started, you know.
I was gonna say that boxing
Hmm.
became a way of resolving conflicts online. Like
Yes,
it's
yeah,
the
yeah, yeah.
heaviest boxing bout, like the two strongest men in the world.
Yeah, yeah, the mountain, right?
Yeah. The Mountain and the Beast.
Hmm.
That was insane, yo.
Yeah, like back then, maybe what was your initial perception when you know, even before we met, like when boxing like appeared on your like social media or you know. Yeah.
I mean, I didn't really give it much thought. I've always thought it was just like a hands only kind of thing. But yeah, after training with you, because Lucas did some PT for me last year. I mean,
Hmm.
it really becomes very technical. It's a sport that requires that contains a lot of nuances that I think you kind of have to navigate, and it's a really interesting sport in general.
Yeah, it's very interesting for the fact that right, like when it comes to let me maybe since we're on the topic of that YouTuber boxing, you know, like it's really like maybe we have one guy who actually like has proper technique, you know, has proper footwork. Yeah, but he doesn't really have the heart. Versus like maybe some YouTuber with a grudge, bearing a grudge, and he's damn intense like he's just like high energy, very big heart, but not much technique. He can still win the fight, you know. All he
Mm.
has to do is not stop throwing the punches. Yeah.
Actually, wouldn't that be like in the case of the where technique wins? Because I would imagine that as a YouTube boxer or what, you will start training after you get into these kind of conflicts, right? And then
Yeah.
by the time you all start getting into the ring, it's almost as if both of you started on a 2 or 3 months very intense boxing journey. You Is it possible to get good experience from 2 to 3 months and go into the ring? And what do you think is gonna come out on top from there? Like, is it technique or is it hard?
Some of those YouTube boxers also, I know, like, maybe you know, like, heard of this guy called Salt Puppy.
Okay.
He basically is this YouTube boxer who already like had initial training back then lah. He just did it maybe once or twice. But the moment he joined the promotion, right? Wow, you could really see that there was talent in there lah. So like definitely like what you said, like technique will bring you far lah. Like if you were a YouTube boxer and you had technique, right? All you needed to do was sharpen your physical capabilities. You will definitely beat like the rest ah. But I think like when I was saying like in terms of like big heart, not much technique, I was also referring to like the main like KSI Logan Paul kind of thing
Yeah.
where KSI also they had the same like time window to train, but KSI maybe like he struggled to like how to say to pick it up faster than like Logan did or like Jake Paul did, you know. Yeah, but he still managed to win the fight. So overcoming like the technique with like brute strength, yeah, and heart.
Hmm. Nice.
Many different factors, I would say.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but all these contribute to elevating boxing as a sport.
Yeah, they definitely did lah. These external factors, right? Probably uh probably I think they really not resonate, like they really influence the the younger generation to start like, seeing boxing in a different light. Not so much so like, oh, it's them like the barrier of entry is very hard. It's like if YouTubers can box, right? The YouTubers that I watch, if they can box, why can't I? Yeah.
Hmm.
I think
Okay. Cool.
I think that helped to influence maybe like Singapore boxing also lah. Cause like okay, maybe I give you a bit of because okay, let me be real lah. I only started competitive boxing in 2022. Before that, right, for those who are like from sort of like those older than me, like old coaches, they all said that like it was harder to even like compete in fights. There weren't many fights going on back then lah, like 2019. Like maybe like 1 year you might fight 3 times or like 2 to 3 opportunities. Yeah, but nowadays there are many more opportunities for young boxers to prove themselves as well. Yeah.
That's awesome. I also saw an article by the Straits Times saying how Singapore boxing wants to get into Olympics in 10 years or something. Do you see that?
Yes, yes. So, like there is actually, from what I know, Singapore Boxing Federation, they already have established a 10-year training plan for their athletes. So, to compete in the Olympics, like you mentioned. So they're already planning in terms of like, maybe either gaining more talents or like, trying to sort of like create a timeline so that Singapore boxers can follow it and achieve as much as possible in the 10-year window.
Do you
Mm.
see it happening though?
Yeah, I do. There are many big names now especially in the SEA Games, like from what we observe, like Velvin Tan, uh probably Singapore's top boxer right now, like best boxer, like pound for pound, really like showing world class performances in the SEA Games, like the latest SEA Games, like last year. Yeah, I think there's a lot of potential in women's boxing also, like Danisha. She I'm not too sure in terms of the boxing, like in terms of Olympics, but she also really showed that she really showed world class potential lah. Yeah. From this is coming from me lah, from a sort of like a casual observer, you know. Yeah.
Yep. Yeah.
Mm.
So that's cool. Anyway, this is
Mm.
quite a nice segue into our next episode. Uh,
Mm.
about common misconceptions about boxing, because if we want to elevate boxing in Singapore, we really need more people coming on board, right? Like
I agree. Yeah. I
joining
agree.
gyms and stuff. And there are
Mm.
a lot of misconceptions about boxing that we want to debunk in the next episode. So before we end and conclude this episode, is there anything else that you want to say to those who are aspiring to get into boxing in Singapore?
Okay, first of all, I think like based on what I've said, right, it's really like I said lah, boxing scene has evolved a lot lah in Singapore. Um, I think there is a reason why. It's also because the barrier of entry has lowered in a sense where, like I said, like money, cost, accessibility, you know, and also sometimes like uh people I guess Singaporeans in general they just prefer trying something new after a while, you know. Boxing is not boxing is not a like it's not really a mainstream sport like it's a combat sport. It is a combat sport, right? And you know, like some people really like they join boxing, they pick up boxing because uh you know they said they want to try something new, they want more adrenaline, they want more intensity. And my advice to those who hasn't like who have yet to enter like the boxing realm like it's really just go for your first trial class somewhere, just go pick a gym, you know, just go for a trial, like go around trying different classes and then form your own perception of it. Yeah. I
Yeah,
think
I agree.
that'll be easier for you lah to know that this is like something that you're interested in. Yeah.
Or you can hit up Lucas for a private session.
Yeah, I mean you can lah. I'm definitely willing to help out lah. Shameless promo.
Okay, anyway, that's been nice. So we can wrap this up and then we'll see you in the next one.
Yeah. See you guys.
See you.